when it was just fish, far back before humans and animals and anything else, there was a shark swimming along who saw far from the distance two fish swimming towards him. The shark wasn't hungry, and so he hoped to kick it with them. They got closer and closer and then stopped for just a moment before darting off into the distance. If only they knew I wasn't hungry. Then I could have kicked it with them, he thought. And with that thought sparked an evolutionary trait. The shark got the ability to sing what we today would call Sade's Lover's Rock. So one day the shark was swimming and not hungry, and saw a group of fish headed his way and began singing. After some considering, the fish altogether agreed that nothing so beautiful could want to eat them. So they swam to him, and he told them how the length of the music is the amount of time before he's hungry again. So he sang, and they all kicked it. And towards the end of what we now call Only Love Gets You Through, the fish said bye and swam away. So the shark started kicking it with all sorts of fish, and it was a really beautiful thing. This situation inspired the thought of some other sharks, and that sparked their evolution, and they began singing too. The shark had children, and they sang, and on that went with sharks. The shark's great situation began inspiring the thought in other predators too, which of course, as this is how evolution works, sparked their own evolutionary traits to let their prey know that they weren't hungry. When the other predators' traits took form, they were different forms of what we now may or may not rightfully or wrongfully call expression or art or some other word. The eels drew calligraphy, and the pufferfish performed dramas, and so on. The jellyfish still just glowed. As the expressions grew more popular, some sharks decided to sing during a pufferfish drama, and this was really beautiful, and it marked the new age in which species and expressions were not confined to each other. So some sharks acted, some stingray sang, some swordfish were performing ballet, and the jellyfish still just glowed. So this was now the age in which predators' choice of expression came from their essence rather than their species. That's a freaking... This thing the predators had thought, it all came from the same place, which was function. So even though many less predatory fish were thinking hard about wanting to be able to express themselves, no evolution was sparked. But still they were happy, and C was happy because at least they got to be surrounded by these expressions. And then the frickin' day came in which a Dumbo octopus was without the trait it needed. You see, this Dumbo octopus really liked this other octopus, and she liked him too, but then she was over it and over him and their relationship. He resigned himself to his own giant and seemingly endless corner of darkness, and thought to himself something we may or may not rightfully or wrongfully translate into, if only I could show her my capacity to see her beauty that could reflect her eyes of beauty in myself, and then maybe she will like me again. And because his fondness of this girl was so great that he actually truly, honestly needed her, the evolutionary trait was sparked that gave him a way to emit sounds. So with this, he floated in his darkness, trying to figure out how to make the order of the sound in a way that was more than just an uncompromising portrait, but a way where the sounds themselves became her. So on it went for years and years, and while he was so scared she found someone else, he knew that even without her, if he could arrange these sounds to inspire out of nothing her essence, he would be with her again. I honestly don't know what happened with that, but some fish a little above the midnight zone heard the notes and saw the octopus and knew he was not a predator, and so rightfully came to the conclusion that the evolutionary thought could be sparked by other necessities as well. And so this became very popular and spread throughout the sea. The evolution reasons became inconsequential. All fish were now expressing. Then one day a group of fish were lounging, kicking it, listening to a freaking lionfish sing what's now called Genuine, The Bachelor, and looking at freaking what is now called Hans Holbein the Younger's An Allegory of Passion being projected by a pallet sugarfish. A princess parrotfish was one of the loungers, and was pissed in general, but this music was moving her in such a way and giving her such relief that she could not stand leaving before 550 Watt was over. The other fish urged her, but she refused. The song ended and the zebra lionfish ate her. This was not good. The pallid sugarfish saw what had happened and temptation was introduced. For this pallid sugarfish realized she could just start painting when she was hungry. This was a very bad thing. But how beautiful. The pallid sugarfish did not give in to this temptation. Unfortunately, she did talk in her sleep, and one night she was sleeping and mumbling all sorts of crazy things, and out came, "Express when hungry," just as a bluefin tuna was passing by. The bluefin tuna was not very good at thinking, so he didn't know what it meant. He was also not very good at trying to think, so he asked a killer whale what it meant. The killer whale understood right away, and so then happened what we may or may not rightfully or wrongfully call original sin. This killer whale was a Buto performer, and so next time she was hungry, she began doing her face thing, and then halfway through, ate some of the fishes watching. The others swam away, witness to this horrible thing, and from that point on, sin was let loose. And the more people that did it, the more it became the norm, which made less chance to identify that it was a sin or whatever. So the expressions were nonstop now, and the ocean became this place where all the fish were in a never-ending, exploding blanket thing of glass and dance and drama and song and canvas and all of that, freaking all the shit. And under and inside and through the folds of all of it, these same fishes that were responsible for all this expression were trying to eat each other. As the traits became more and more pointless during this time, the fish became more and more desperate to create things so enticing that the other fish could not help but get nearer to it, even knowing what would happen if they did. And so this brought very potent and seductive things that were less expressions or frickin' whatever you want to frickin' call it than they were just traps all around. And the potency began dulling them out. Duller now, and soon nothing worked. The traits had no function, and so died out at the next generation of fish. But once, so very long after all of this, I was swimming in a really deep and empty area of the ocean, and for a moment, from off in the distance, I may or may not have heard,
Oh, Max Charlie. fuck, fact check pursuing. Actually blooming. Oh wait, fuck waiting and waiting. This taxing just waxing.
Damn, this track is hot, yeah, this should go. Yeah, homie, I'm hot. Yeah, homie, I glow. Shit, what? This track go. Every time I hear this shit, I'm like, oh my god.
Like I love you, can't get it, I'm grounded, fuck that shit. I wish upon a star to let codeine pops with you. So she turns into a dragonfly, and she flies to her crew. And they're like, oh shit, you're gleaming, you're glowing, you're beaming. Shit, you're so pretty, fool. And she's like,
A 15-year-old boy, sweaty, breathing heavy in his bed. Music still playing and the night is shining in through the windows. He walks downstairs to his 17-year-old red-haired sister who's wearing her mom's white and blue 1987 Joni Mitchell Tour t-shirt sitting at the coffee table, and his 42-year-old blonde-haired mom who is psychotically high cooking organic Alexia French fries. He slaps the used condom onto his sister's face as he walks past her and goes and sits in the chair nearest the front door. The father is praying outside the front door. Please let today be different, he says, crossing his fingers sincerely, so melancholic. He opens the door smiling. Family, I'm home. Shut the fuck up, says his daughter, liquid and condom that's on her head dripping down her face. The mom opens the oven, grabs a bubbling and olive oil French fry, and flicks it at her husband. It hits him in the face and he shrieks. She laughs, his daughter laughs, his son laughs. He looks over at his son, who is wide-legged, itching his crotch, sneering at his father. The father sinks his head as he heads up to the bedroom. On the way up the stairs, he is physically ridiculed with his son's boxers, shoes, more French fries, and the condom. Upstairs in his bedroom now, he removes what was thrown onto him and moves to the bathroom to wash off after another hard day at work. He hears his family below, laughing, joking, playing, wassailing, as he resigns himself to his shower. It was a very dark shower, little light getting in, a world in itself. The water is the only sound, and in that way it's just a different look of silence for him. Heat has the shower glass now looking like a Herman Hesse book cover. He merges more and more with the shower vibe until it's all one thing. The hottest girl comes into the shower. He's concrete now. She gives him a blowjob. His shape turns more and more refined. He is like a giant Inca head now, but with a touch of decadence, like a primitive sculpture in the apartment of a rich Manhattan person in the 90s, still in the shower. The water bounces off the stone that's him onto the stone walls where it drips down like rock climbers descending. She leaves. Generations pass. The water stops. Like a miracle, the sound of his family below are still there. He asks for a redo and gets it. He opens the front door. Different house, one story, kitchen empty. He finds his wife, new wife, in bed reading Thomas Bernhard's Concrete. The bedroom is lit up. He climbs into bed and goes deep under the covers beside his wife's thighs. He's so deep. Endless folds. Sifting now, trying to find an end to it. There it is. He flips his body around and goes in feet first. Yosemite National Park, shrunken in shape to be a house. 72 virgins. One is his daughter, from what he remembers as his OG life. She doesn't remember and so swarms him with the other 71 virgins. He tries to finesse the situation to sexually embrace the 71 while keeping a watchful eye for his daughter's body parts, deflecting them when they get too close. Hours in, and he ends up inside of his daughter and cannot get himself to stop. Desperate reasoning that the redo means it's okay. A finale of quality inversely frickin' parallel to the level of nastiness of the situation. Then shame paralleled in the same way. So full of regret that he is quote-unquote zen. He runs off and free climbs midnight lightning to try to cleanse himself. He reaches the top. He looks out. Behold, man. And the beauty of his home makes him embarrassed. And even more full of regret, thinking something like, if only this, but I hadn't done just that, or hadn't just done that. He asks and whispers in tongues for one more try. Iced coffee, 16 years old, popular. Flames of the menorah casting giant, dramatic, and passionate shadows of himself, his parents, and his 15-year-old girlfriend onto the wall made of freaking rocks, boulders, whatever. Fuck. He's teaching her how to say the prayer. Jewish blood feels different than Gentile blood from under his breath. Oh, jeez. His parents give him his gift, which is a plane ticket to Egypt. He gives his girlfriend her gift, which is also a plane ticket to Egypt. He takes his girlfriend to Las Casuelas. He drinks 3 margaritas, trying to squeeze all the agave he can out of life while he still can, and he ends up too drunk. Roadhead from his girlfriend driving her home. Another conflict because he is mentally in his older years and she is 15. Fireworks that never fall. He drops his girlfriend off. Drunk driving home, he opens the window and is attacked by the most beautiful air to ever exist, which is hot Coachella Valley 92.7 summer nights air. He looks to the mountains and is so stirred up with butterflies, and everything is so, if only not drunk. He hates everything. One more is asked for and is denied, and he parks in a parking lot and feels so trapped in his drunkenness. It's like claustrophobic and fucked, and so he removes his soul and blows it away into the mountains. He's with the rocks now, sober as a soul. He's part of the beauty now. He is the beauty. He finally gets it. He's still in the shower. He shuts it off and hears his family. He has no clue how to respond. He gets into bed and hides under the covers and stays spineless for the rest of his stupid fucking life.
Rude boy DJ Cock Nitro radiating your brainwaves with a new 5G mix. This DJ using Windows XP Vista Office 2003.